because I went to a bison farm in central Virginia maybe a few months before the farm started. And I watched a bison cow jump over a 5 or 6 foot fence from a standstill and said, okay, this is not, I don't have the money to build 10-foot high Jurassic Park fences all over the place. So we decided to go with something a little smaller, a little more reasonable, less dangerous, less wild, and just got into poultry and pork to start with. The problem is that if these farms were going to replicate like that, it would have happened already. But it's not, because it's too difficult to make a living as a farmer doing that, just for any number of reasons. There's very little historical precedent for that kind of farming to actually work without creating some kind of exploitative relationship with the people who are doing it. You know, if you get away from that and you start to expand and actually offer the pie to people, as you scale up, you're able to engage in farming in a way that's less exploitive on people, less exploitive on the landscape. And the other part of scale is just the fact that we need to get big. Like, if you're going to compete with big ag, you have to compete as a large entity. And you're just not going to do that with a million independent farms all doing their own thing, uncoordinated, not leveraging economies of scale, repeating all kinds of work. I mean, the engineer in me just thinks about like decentralized processing units and things like that. It's like, no, we really don't do that. You've got every individual farmer doing the exact same thing, spending the exact same money.
And driving on Saturday to the farmer's market.
Yeah, you've got 100,000 people driving their cars to 100,000 different markets, and you've got 10,000 poultry farmers all buying the same equipment. It's like, why? The amount of inefficiency that comes from our failure to scale. I mean, I did an audit of my own business and just tried to attribute how much of our price point is owed to inefficiencies just because we don't do things at scale. We can't buy feed in bulk. We don't share markets. Like, there's lots of bits of land everywhere. There's lots of people who want to farm and who would make good farmers, but who aren't good entrepreneurs, who aren't people that want to deal with, the non-farming parts of things, but should still be able to get access to the landscape to do what they do, which is what regenerative agriculture is supposed to do: build topsoil and improve biodiversity and sequester carbon, do all the things that it's supposed to do.
So what should investors do?
What investors really should do is specifically seek out voices from people who have been systematically excluded from agriculture. And here's the reason why. It really caused me to think about, okay, what is the actual problem that we're trying to solve? Like, in one sentence, what's the problem and what's the solution we're trying to come up with? And in a sentence, it's create a competitive alternative to traditional agriculture and agribusiness.